What's up, new types? This is Isaac or Average Bloom, and I'm here to try and answer the question, is aggro too strong? Recently, there was a community survey that came out asking questions that ranged from wanting to know how you feel about the state of the current metagame, to asking what your favorite Gundam series is, and even what your favorite playable color is. This was answered by over 1,000 players, and the thing that stuck out to me the most was that 70.2% of the people, or over 700 players, felt that aggro is too good. But is this actually correct? Well, the answer is kind of complicated. Firstly, we should probably address the recent changes that have been made. With the updates to the banned and restricted list pair banning level 2, 1 cost, 2 power, 2 health units with no effects, this is going to impact the current state of aggro decks and reduce the amount of pressure that they can apply during the early turns. This can be interpreted as Bandai giving their answer to this question and saying that in its current state, aggro is too strong. However, is this actually the best answer to the problem? Personally, I feel as though this specific pair banning is addressing a symptom of the game rather than addressing the real issue. Currently, the true problem is that the game is best of one, which as a side effect causes aggro to be better than it otherwise would be in a best of three world. In a best of one world, being proactive with your gameplay is the best decision generally speaking, and aggro is inherently a proactive strategy and gameplay. On top of this, aggro is also capable of leveraging RNG better than other strategies. If your opponent bricks on their opening hand or has to mulligan into a slow start, then you, as the aggro player, get to just pressure and kill them. If this same situation happens, but you're playing a slower or more reactive strategy, then even if you pivot to a more aggressive role in the match, you will still inherently be giving more time for the opponent to generate some sort of game plan or possibly even stabilize the game and win. The other problem is that aggro is the most consistent strategy in the game as it gets to play the most amount of redundancy of any strategy due to the abundance of one cost 2/2 units such as the GM, the Zaku Mariner, and the Graze Custom. No other strategy gets to play effectively 8, 12, or even 16 copies of a card that is core and essential to the functionality of that strategy. The last large factor is that aggro is the strategy that is best able to win a match without relying on having specific links. Most other strategies in the game currently rely on seeing specific links in order to reach optimal efficiency. Think decks like Blue White League Militaire with Banshee Norn, or Red White Neo Zhong blockers, or even Red Green CB with Lock On and the Haptism personalities. These are strategies that are significantly weaker when they don't draw the links on time, whereas aggro has the capability to draw 0 pilots and still completely run you over if you start slow. Now, Bandai has since decided to make some changes to try and directly solve this by addressing one of the things that makes aggro good, its consistency. By pair banning all 1 cost 2/2 units and making it so that you can only play a total of 4, they have effectively killed the redundancy advantage that aggro had over other strategies. While one could argue that this has solved the problem, I would argue that this is merely dancing around the real problem that is at hand in this current format, which is its best of one nature. If the game were to change to a best of 3 with sideboards, multiple things would change. Firstly, people could properly prepare and build their decks to answer aggro strategies while also not folding against the bigger strategies of the format. While there are some excellent tools that can be used against aggro, it can be hard to justify playing them in the main board if the application is realistically limited to being good against aggro while possibly hindering your consistency in other areas. It is this exact reason that makes the sideboard so crucially important in skill testing as both a player and deck builder. The other major factor that this solves is the RNG problem. In a best of 3 world, you're no longer out of the running if you bricked and lost game 1 against aggro. They still have to get another game on you while you can absolutely make a comeback and win the entire match. Whereas in a best of 1 world, you never even get the option for a game 2. Let's all be real here. There are definitely matches that we've won simply because the opponent bricked, and under any normal circumstances, you probably should have lost. God knows that I've experienced that, and it's definitely part of what's allowed me to win as many tournaments as I have. Regardless of that, and any benefit that I may have received from this reality of best of one, I would still fully advocate for best of 3 to become the standard in order to further ensure that it truly is the best pilot that wins the match. Earlier, I stated that I felt the pair banning on the 2-2 vanillas was not the correct response. Personally, I believe the best solution is to make the game best of 3 with sideboard and change the restriction of vanilla 2-2s from 1 playset to 2. Ideally, this would be 1 playset of vanilla 2-2s for each color in your deck identity, i.e. 4 GM and 4 Grays Custom. With that being said, the question still stands. Is aggro too good? Well, kind of. But it's not really aggro's fault for this, and it's more a symptom of a larger issue that is currently at play in this game. The best way to expedite the inclusion of best of 3 into this phenomenal game is to fill out the survey at the end of the events in the TCG Plus app and state that you want the game to be best of 3 with sideboards. Bandai has shown that they listen to these surveys. So make sure to get your voice out there. Either way though, it seems that action has now been taken. The only thing left to tell is whether that decision turns out to be a good one, or if we will end up back here in the future complaining about the same thing still. No matter the case, thank you for listening. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share this with all of your friends, and make sure to check out my team's channel, Team Average, and subscribe there for future content. Good luck in all of your future games. Thank you, and peace.